Have you ever loved someone so much that words just weren't enough? This is the story of Leo, a pianist whose fingers could say what his heart never dared to. Leo lived a quiet life, his world confined to the 88 keys of his old upright piano. In this world, he was a virtuoso, a king. But outside, in the real world, he was just a man hopelessly in love with Clara. Clara was sunshine personified. She lived in the apartment across the hall, her laughter echoing like a melody Leo could never quite capture. He'd see her in the mornings, a whirlwind of bright scarves and even brighter smiles. He wanted to tell her everything, how her presence made his small apartment feel vast, how her voice was the only song he wanted to hear. But the words always got stuck, lost somewhere between his throat and his lips. So he did the only thing he knew how. He composed. Night after night, fueled by cheap coffee and overwhelming emotion, he poured his silent confession into a symphony. He called it Clara's theme. It wasn't just music. It was a conversation he was too afraid to have. The opening notes were soft and hesitant, mirroring their awkward hallway greetings. The melody would then swell into a passionate, soaring crescendo, representing the depth of his feelings. A love so powerful, it felt like it could shake the very foundations of the city. The symphony became his life's work, his obsession. His health suffered, his world shrank, but the music grew more beautiful, more honest with every passing day. He wove into it the memory of her laugh, the color of her eyes, the bittersweet ache of watching her from afar. The final movement was a lament, a quiet, heartbreaking acceptance that this music was the closest he would ever get to telling her the truth. It ended on a single unresolved note, hanging in the air like a question he'd never ask. One rainy Tuesday, he finished it. With trembling hands, he sent the only copy to a local orchestra. Along with an anonymous note, it simply said, "For Clara." Then, with his life's confession finally sent out into the world, Leo packed a single bag and vanished, leaving his apartment as empty as his heart felt. Weeks later, Clara was dragged to a free concert in the park by a friend. The orchestra began a new piece by an unknown composer. As the first notes filled the air, Clara froze. It was a melody she somehow knew, a feeling she recognized. It was the shy glances in the hallway, the unspoken tension, the warmth she felt whenever he was near. The music painted a portrait of her she had never seen, through the eyes of someone who adored her. She heard the longing, the devotion, the painful shyness. It was all there, every missed opportunity, every silent "I love you." Tears streamed down her face as the final, hanging note echoed through the park. It was Leo. It had always been Leo. She ran back to the apartment building, her heart pounding a rhythm that matched the symphony's frantic middle section. She knocked on his door, calling his name, but was met only with silence. The landlord told her he'd left weeks ago. No forwarding address. The music had reached her, a perfect, beautiful confession delivered across time and space. But the composer was gone, a shadow who had left behind his masterpiece. Clara now listens to his symphony every day, a permanent reminder of the man who loved her in silence, and the beautiful, tragic music that was his only reply. It's a story that reminds us to speak our hearts, because sometimes, by the time the music plays, the composer is no longer there to take a bow. As always, the heart remembers what the world forgets.